Hey guys, back on the YouTube video today. It's going to be an update video, and this is updating on the two shotguns that I bought in a previous video. Now I've completely restored them, brought them back to the original condition. So I'm going to talk about what I had to do to them and what I did to fix them. The first gun I'll talk about is the H&R that I worked on. Beautiful. That came out really great. And I actually didn't need to do much to it. We actually found out what was wrong with the firing pin. Apparently, after so many years of somebody using this gun, the firing pin hole had developed a burr which was blocking the firing pin. So it was a simple thing we did. We took a very small drill bit and just gently hollowed out that hole, and it fixed the firing pin. And then to make sure it works, since we can't shoot them out here due to us having neighbors, we just simply put a blank shell in it, which is basically a shotgun shell with just a primer, and that's it. It'll still make a pop sound, but it won't shoot anything. And it fired without a problem. And I didn't need to restain the stock and foregrip because I kind of liked the finish that it already had. Another thing I did is I got the butt plate off and rehydrated it because it was completely dry rotted because I want to keep this original butt plate. And I cleaned the screws that was in this because they were completely rusted, so I cleaned them and blued them. And again, cleaned the barrel, cleaned the inside, and now she's ready to go. And I cleaned the case hardening as well. So how I did the case hardening was very simple. I didn't want to rub off this hardening, so what I did is just simple WD-40 and a cleaning rag and just gently rub it off till the rust comes off. And it did. It left some pitting damage, but nothing that I'm worried about. And the barrel didn't have much pitting damage. It had more just light rust. So I took some motor oil, a little bit of heavier duty, and just hand wiped it all by hand by about an hour. And then cleaned it and gave it a thin coat of clear coat to protect it from rusting again. So I basically preserved the original blue finish because I didn't want to re-blue it. But it came out pretty well, and I look forward to shooting this thing. But besides the firing pin, there was actually no major damage. The mechanism's still perfectly functional. The release lever's okay. Everything else performs perfectly. Well worth that $80, and I cannot wait to shoot this for real sometime. Which I do plan on shooting this, but I'm going to shoot some light loads out of it first just to make sure it'll handle the recoil. Now, that H&R didn't require much work done to it. The Stevenson, on the other hand, that required a lot more work. Once I got down to what all was wrong with it, those who remember, this is that Stevenson that I purchased. And once I actually got down to taking it apart, I realized something I should have realized from the get-go. The barrel's been shortened. Now, a lot of people who don't know their firearms think just because it's got the bead sight on the end of it, it's not been shortened. That's actually not true. Upon cleaning the barrel, I realized there's a small divot in the barrel from somebody who attempted to put a bead sight on before, but they didn't do it right. On top of that, the tip of the barrel, it's kind of hard to see on camera, is uneven. It's going like this, and I can see the jagged marks from somebody who's attempted to cut it, which is a common thing with these old single shots. A lot of people would cut them down and modify them for home defense. And once I got the mechanism apart, I started cleaning it, and to my shocker, there was a boatload of cockroaches in this thing. Once I got the stock off, I completely cleaned this out till it was bare metal, and I re-oiled it, cleaned it up. On top of that, there was at least 3 cracks in the stock right here. There was one here, and one here, and one on the back, and I took some Gorilla Glue and resealed those cracks back up. And fixed the crack on the foregrip that was right here. Same thing, took some Gorilla Glue and resealed it back up. And now the stock, on the other hand, after I got this rubber butt plate off, hence why it's taped, because it's old and it ripped with the tape off, somebody had done some major work to this gun. So when I took the butt plate off, this surprised me. There's 2 different kinds of wood, and somebody had glued fishing weights on the inside of this, not only to make the stock a little longer, but apparently to add some extra weight, which didn't really bother me because I kind of love that somebody did that. But they didn't do a good job on flushing the wood. I had to hand sand this and make it all flush, and then, of course, stain it. And then, of course, in order to fix the stock, I had to cut the hole through here because there was just 2 big holes right here and a small gap right here. so I couldn't get to the rifle screw, so I had to cut a hole through here and get the stock off to repair it. Overall, it's still a beautiful gun for the age. Now, besides the stock and foregrip needing some major work, the mechanism itself did not have any major things wrong with it other than the barrel being cut. The mechanism itself was perfectly functional. I didn't need to clear coat the barrel because the finish was already still on it. There was some minor rust, so again, I took some motor oil and gently cleaned it to get all the rust off of it. And the mechanism itself, again, same thing, WD-40, cleaned that up and re-oiled it and fixed the foregrip. Those who may know, it had picture frame screws originally. So I took those screws out and replaced them with the screws that would have been the same types of this gun, which is all flatheads. The only screw I kept is this one right here, because I didn't have another screw long enough to do this kind of stuff with, so I kept that one, but I modified it to look like the original. Again, for $100, I think it was well worth it, and I do plan on finding another butt plate like this, because I do love this butt plate, even though it's not the original one. I would love to find another one. But still, for the price, I did say I wanted a project gun, and my buddy came through for me. And like I said, I look forward to shooting this, and we did the same thing with this gun. We put a blank in it and fired it, and it still fired without a problem. So eventually I will get some, we'll find a place to go shoot, and I'll shoot some light loads out of this just to make sure it'll take the heat. But overall, I got a very good deal, and I do love this Stevenson. I love how the wood turned out because I refinished that as well. Still a beautiful old shotgun. It's still made in America, which I'll still take it over anything else. And I completely hand sanded the stock and foregrip and refinished it so that way it looks a lot nicer. So basically this one required more work than the H&R, but still it was worth it, and I love this gun, and it's going to look great in my collection. Overall, it was well worth the money, and I was so happy to get this one working without any problems, because this gun alone's worth $200 as is once I got it fixed. So that paid for both of the guns right there. The Stevenson, I don't really know yet. I'm going to do some more homework on it and see if I can find one of that similar condition that has been sold. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, stay sharp.